Jon Moxley aka Dean Ambrose is back in WWE. Vince McMahon and Donald Trump appear at SNME. CM Punk's tragic personal update. John Cena opens up on getting cancelled. Becky Lynch wants a backstage name suspended. Bron Breakker's girlfriend pays tribute to Chris Jericho. Cody Rhodes SNME match officially confirmed. The WWE quietly erases a faction from history. Let's dive right in. Vince McMahon and Donald Trump appear at SNME. WWE Saturday night's main event, SNME 42, is expected to be a memorable event. It's John Cena's last gig inside a wrestling ring. The 17-time champion will square off against Gunther in the main event of the show. Besides Cena's match, the night will also feature 2 exhibition matches where superstars from NXT will face WWE superstars. Bayley will take on Sol Ruca in a one-on-one match, while the newly crowned NXT champion Femi will take on undisputed champion Cody Rhodes in a match. So far, these 3 matches have been announced for SNME. On this week's episode of Raw and SmackDown, 2 more matches could be added to the match card. Number 1, John Cena shouldn't tap out to Gunther. Gunther has been taking out many superstars lately with his submission lock, but that shouldn't be the case with Cena. Even if Cena were to lose this match, it should be after a powerbomb and not after a submission. A defeat after submission would severely hit Cena's credibility in WWE. He is a WWE icon and a 17-time champion. His in-ring skills are inarguably even better than Gunther's. At the age of 48, he has put up a good performance in this retirement tour, which includes a mind-blowing match against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam and against AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. His fans would be disappointed if Cena taps out to Gunther's submission lock. They are already angry over the champ's squash match against Brock Lesnar. Therefore, WWE shouldn't book Cena's loss after a tap out. The company booked Goldberg's retirement match against Gunther similarly. The Hall of Famer had passed out after Ring General's submission lock, and that was a terrible booking. This shouldn't happen with John Cena. He should be allowed to retire with grace and his head held high. Number 2, Bayley shouldn't beat Sol Ruca. Bayley will get inside the ring with Sol Ruca for a one-on-one match. The two had a face-off on SmackDown this week, where Bayley tried to psychologically outsmart Sol Ruca, saying that competing on Raw and SmackDown is altogether a different thing. Even though Bayley is a 4-time women's champion and much experienced wrestler, she shouldn't be beating Sol Ruca. That would be a poor booking, looking at the future of the careers of both superstars. Bayley is already past her prime, and if she defeats Sol Ruca, that could dent Sol Ruca's career. She is yet to make a main roster debut, and a defeat before that at the hands of a former women's champion will not do her any good. Instead, Bayley should put over her NXT opponent and pave the way for her on the main roster. Number 3, former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon and United States of America President Donald Trump shouldn't appear. There are rumors that former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon might return to the company for Cena's last match. Vince McMahon is instrumental in steering John Cena's career. However, McMahon's return could tremendously harm the company's business at the moment if he comes back. He faces serious allegations of harassment in the Janelle Grant lawsuit. The matter is sub judice, and the courts haven't exonerated him from all the charges. His presence at SNME could disappoint the fans, which in the long term could impact the company's business and even damage TKO's reputation. Similarly, there are rumors that U.S. President Donald Trump could also make an appearance at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Logan Paul has hinted that the fans could see Trump in the building. Speaking to Fox News some time back, Paul stated that he and his friends had discussed it. And even though he doesn't have any information about it, there is a faint possibility of Trump showing up. However, this should be another thing the company shouldn't be doing. Although Trump has made a previous appearance, WrestleMania 23, that was in the capacity of a businessman. Today, he is the President of the United States of America, and his appearance could be perceived wrongly. WWE should stay away from politics at the moment since it could backfire. Late WWE legend Hulk Hogan had to bear the brunt of his political leanings when he arrived on WWE's debut episode on Netflix on January 6th, 2025 this year. Trump's presence could do similar damage. Therefore, Triple H shouldn't book Donald Trump's presence at SNME after John Cena. Number 4, Femi shouldn't beat Cody Rhodes. Femi won the NXT Championship back from Ricky Saints at the NXT Deadline event. He has now earned the opportunity to fight undisputed champion Cody Rhodes at SNME. Rhodes, however, is also entangled in a rivalry with Drew McIntyre. Although the Scottish Warrior is suspended at the moment, there are huge chances that he will spoil Cody's match against Femi, and as a result, the NXT champion can walk out with a win. WWE shouldn't go with this booking because if Cody loses to an NXT superstar, that would seriously harm his credibility. A WWE champion shouldn't be losing to an NXT champion. That's not just terrible, but a foolish booking. Since the Nigerian Giant is already a champion, he is certainly not going to make a move to the main roster. Instead, we could see Ricky Saints jumping the ship to Raw now. Therefore, Cody's loss at the hands of Femi would not make any sense. CM Punk's tragic personal update. Former WWE manager Jim Cornette recently shared his thoughts on CM Punk's personal update. Punk lost his best friend and pet Larry last week. The star penned an emotional note on Instagram in memory of his pet. He recalled how they rescued the adorable pooch from PAWS Chicago in 2015, and he soon became an integral part of their family. He detailed how Larry had filled their home with joy and laughter over the last 10 years and would be terribly missed. This week on Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru, the wrestling legend reflected on the unfortunate news. He noted that Punk's outfit at Survivor Series paid homage to Larry. Jim Cornette recalled how painful it was to lose his own dog a few years ago. The veteran manager became emotional as he said it was difficult to cope with this sort of loss. I was just saying at Survivor Series, he wore the jacket saying Larry's dad. I don't know whether to say I hope it was sudden or I hope it wasn't sudden. Maybe he knew Larry was sick if that was the case. I don't know. After going through it with Baby, I don't know. Whether it's worse if it comes up all of a sudden or if you know about it ahead of time, at least you have time to prepare. But then you have to think about it longer. Neither one of it's sick is easy. I hate to hear that. It was a tough week for CM Punk. Besides losing Larry, he couldn't get the win at Survivor Series War Games. In fact, a masked figure jumped into the cage and laid out the World Heavyweight Champion with a stomp. This allowed Bron Breakker to hit a vicious spear and pin Punk to get a win for his team. The following week on Raw, Paul Heyman negotiated a championship match for Breakker. The Vision member will now challenge CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship on the January 5th, 2026 edition of Raw. John Cena opens up on getting canceled. WWE star John Cena recently shared one of the most tense incidents of his career. The star is a wrestling icon and legend. John is currently finishing up his retirement tour in WWE. He was the face of the company for over 2 decades. During his career, Cena even managed to learn Mandarin as the company wanted to expand its reach in China. During a recent appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, Cena noted that he was doing prompter reads in Mandarin after a long day, and he didn't check the script beforehand. He recalled referring to Taiwan as a country and offending the people in China. It was all in Mandarin, and the opinion described Taiwan as a country, so be the first country to see this. Now over there, they look through a different lens. Geopolitics and murky waters, man. And that's what I learned. I just said it. Left. Everybody was cool. He continued. Then they put that out and everybody was like, what the F did you just say? That's not how we do it over here. And again, just because, like my takeaway, and it was a pretty tense moment for me. John Cena noted that after he apologized for his actions, folks back home in the US were offended. The Cenation leader felt that he got himself into murky waters and felt he would be canceled. I had to apologize to China, and apologizing to China, I pee off my home country. I'm a patriot. I love the United States of America, everything it stands for. But like it was never enough. Nobody was happy. Everybody was F up. And it was like murky waters for me personally. The 17-time world champion will finally hang up his boots after Saturday night's main event. He will face Gunther in a highly emotional singles match. The star shared on social media that it would be an honor to end his career against an opponent that he holds in high regard. It will be interesting to see if John Cena can walk out of his last match with a win against the Ring General. Becky Lynch wants a backstage name suspended. WWE superstar. Becky Lynch recently took to social media to send a message to a popular Raw personality. The man also took several shots at him. The name in question is Raw Recaps host Sam Roberts. Since dropping the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship to Maxine Dupree, Becky Lynch has been going off on social media. She has taken multiple shots at Dupree, Raw GM Adam Pearce, referee Jessica Carr, and AJ Lee. Now, it seems like Sam Roberts is the latest name on Big Time Bex's list. The former WWE Women's World Champion recently took to X to send a message to Sam Roberts after appearing on his Not Some Wrestling Live podcast. The man took shots at the Raw personality, calling his show the lowest rated program in the history of Sirius XM. She added that she believes Roberts should get suspended for calling her sources bogus. It should be noted that Becky Lynch is maintaining her heel persona outside WWE as well, and she posted this while being in character. Revolting Roberts is at it again. Spent 15 minutes on his show, lowest rated show in the history of Sirius XM, saying my sources were bogus. I have the best sources. We want the truth, Sleazy Sam. Something you are unwilling to report. Even your own producer agrees with me. I think it's time for another suspension, she wrote. During a recent edition of Busted Open Radio, Natalya praised Maxine Dupree for her performance against Becky Lynch, crediting the Alpha Academy stars training at the dungeon. The Queen of Hearts comments caught Big Time Bex's attention, and she once again took shots at Dupree, calling the latter a fake champion. How many times did Corrupt Carr screw me over? Again and again and again. Did she learn that in the dungeon? Maxine is a fake champion. Everyone knows this, she said. The man has been doing an excellent job with her current heel gimmick. It will be interesting to see what the Triple H-led creative team has planned for her future. Bron Breakker's girlfriend pays tribute to Chris Jericho. A 26-year-old WWE star, who also happens to be Bron Breakker's girlfriend, appeared to pay tribute to the legendary Chris Jericho on a premium live event by applying his signature move, using it to brutalize her opponent. At NXT Deadline, one of the marquee matches saw Izzy Dame, the girlfriend of Breakker, face Tatum Paxley in what can be described as a grudge match. Izzy Dame was there for Tatum Paxley's rise as NXT Women's Champion, but her success proved too much, and Dame would turn on Paxley in what became an unfortunately short run as the champion. As a result, NXT Deadline was set up as a big match to settle the difference between Paxley and Bron Breakker's girlfriend, Izzy Dame. During the match, Izzy Dame seemingly paid tribute to Chris Jericho by hitting the Lion Tamer, a signature of Y2J. While the clip below shows her applying the Boston Crab, or Walls of Jericho, she would eventually transition into a Lion Tamer, which is a steeper, more brutal version of the submission move. While this wasn't the defining part that won Bron Breakker's girlfriend the match, it was a crucial bit. The turning point came when Shawn Spears' FKA Ty Dillinger showed Paxley her precious dolls, distracting her. Paxley would slap Spears in retaliation, but the move would cost her as Izzy Dame took advantage and picked up what was undeniably the biggest victory of her young WWE career so far. far. It was a display for Izzy Dame, and paying tribute to Chris Jericho seemed like a good choice, at least in terms of the story they were telling. Dame displayed a ruthless side of herself that hasn't been seen before, and this could end up being a stepping stone for the 26-year-old star to finally take off and cement herself as one of the elite names in the stacked NXT women's division. Cody Rhodes' SNME match officially confirmed. This weekend featured the final PLE of WWE for the year, NXT Deadline, featuring some of the most intriguing matches from the roster. The show kicked off with the NXT Championship match featuring Femi challenging Ricky Saints for the coveted title. Both men tore each other apart with some of the most hard-hitting action both men had in their arsenal. Ricky Saints managed to take the upper hand in the beginning with some strategic moves, using his agility to take down the big man. However, Femi's raw power was enough to take down the champion and prove his dominance. The final moments of the battle featured Femi delivering the sit-out powerbomb, followed by the pinfall to get the victory. With a new NXT champion crowned, the ruler is now once again on the top of the entire roster on NXT. Femi is now set to face the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event, and fans have expressed their excitement to witness the incredible battle. Time will tell what the company has in store for both Rhodes and Femi when they collide next weekend. Former WWE champion Drew McIntyre has been engaged in a massive feud with the American Nightmare for quite some time now. While the Scottish Warrior is currently suspended from the Blue brand, he could make his presence felt at SNME next weekend. The American Nightmare already demanded Nick Aldis to lift McIntyre's suspension, and it won't be surprising if the latter is reinstated before SNME next weekend. McIntyre could become a distraction for Rhodes during his match against Femi at SNME, helping the latter pick up the win. Fans will have to wait and see what the company has in store for the stars next. The WWE quietly erases a faction from history. WWE appears to have erased a popular group from its history books. Heath Slater recently addressed the Nexus's backstage status within the company and whether the group would have liked to run it back with John Cena in his farewell tour. Slater has been clamoring to see the original members of the Nexus get back together, calling for the chief content officer, Triple H, to pick up the phone. The Wade Barrett-led faction had a short-lived run with the company. Their controversial loss to Team John Cena at WWE SummerSlam 2010 derailed their momentum, following which they never recovered and were disbanded within a year. In an interview with Rewind Recap Relive, Heath Slater expressed his frustration over missing out on the Never Seen 17's retirement tour. He wishes the Nexus had planted the seeds for a renewed feud with John Cena this year. I don't want to say I'm P. John Cena deserves everything that he's going to get. He dedicated his life and soul to this business, and that's a fact. But out of how long of the run that he had, we as a group, Nexus, had a huge feud with John Cena. I feel, and this is just me, and I already know it's not going to happen, so no spoiler alert. I wish we would have planted the seeds 6 months ago, just so we could have watered it, and hopefully it would have grown. Slater revealed that someone within the company had told him that the Nexus had been forgotten, which puts rumors of their return to rest once and for all. I asked a buddy of mine that's still up there. He said they pretty much just swept Nexus underneath the rug and were not even existing anymore. It's one of those things where I think it could be cool if the music hit, we all came down either to hurt or help John Cena. I feel like it could have been a cool moment just for the nostalgia of the people. Wade Barrett hasn't gotten physical since coming back to WWE as a broadcaster in 2020. He currently calls Monday Night Raw on Netflix alongside play-by-play commentator Joe Tessitore. At WWE Survivor Series last weekend, the British star reiterated that he will never lace up his boots again, let alone compete inside the War Games structure. Despite his comments, Barrett remains open to the idea of coming out of retirement under the right circumstances. Can he get the band back together? Only time will tell. Jon Moxley, FKA Dean Ambrose, is back in WWE. Theories about the Mystery Man storyline in WWE know no bounds, with fans continuing to throw every possible name in the hat. Among them is current AEW star Jon Moxley. A rumor killer has emerged on the former SHIELD member, and it seems like the online chatter is nothing but bogus. The Survivor Series, War Games 2025, was a night to remember, especially for the Vision, as Bron Breakker pinned CM Punk to secure the win for his team. Of course, it wouldn't have been possible without the black-hooded person. The man in disguise nailed the best in the world with a curb stomp on his way out, forcing the WWE Universe to believe it was Seth Rollins' doing. But the Visionary's name has since been taken out of consideration, at least for the time being. Rollins is rehabbing his shoulder following a successful surgery and is unlikely to return anytime soon. Austin Theory's name has also been thrown around, but the Masked Man could end up being someone else if the creative drags the storyline till next year. A Facebook handle by the name of WWE is in my DNA claimed that Jon Moxley was under the black mask and that his identity has been kept a secret because he's still contractually obligated to AEW. As interesting as this idea sounds on paper, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful quashed the speculation, saying Mox is not rejoining WWE anytime soon. WWE recently shared an article on its website ranking 8 possible suspects to be the mystery assailant from most likely to least likely. Randy Orton has been named a top suspect in the case, followed by Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, John Cena, LA Knight, Becky Lynch, Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles. The Viper hasn't been seen on TV since the October 3rd edition of SmackDown. Now the question remains, is it the same mystery man who attacked Jacob Fatu on SmackDown a few months ago? If yes, the person isn't aren't probably linked to the Vision as everyone originally thought, and could pose a serious threat to the entire locker room in the coming weeks. Fans have to wait a little longer to find out which wrestler unveils themselves as the mastermind behind the attack on CM Punk and who they target next.